Hello everyone and welcome back to the Nerd Den here once again, and for today's video I've got a short little video which is kind of having a look at Reddit, where there's been a lot of leaks that have been happening on there over the past few months, and a lot of them unfortunately have ended up becoming true. And I say that in the context of that it does kind of spoil things, but also at the same time in this day and age it is kind of fun to speculate on the future of the show, but it also gives some much needed context to stuff that happens behind the scenes as well. And today we are going to be looking at a potential reason on why Ncuti Gatwa decided to leave the show, because it did kind of feel like a very sudden exit, and obviously there's a lot of evidence that suggests there was some last minute reshoots. So we're going to be having a look at that, which will be very interesting. But with all that being said, let's get into the video. Remember to take anything that's said in this video with a pinch of salt, because yeah, even though there's been a lot of stuff on here that's been proven true, I will always say with Reddit leaks and whatever to take them in with like an open mind, because it could be a lot of waffle, but it's very worth paying attention to nonetheless. So with all that being said, let's get into the video. So, from r/Doctor Who News, leaker Andrew explains why Ncuti Gatwa decided to leave Doctor Who. So apparently he decided to jump ship and move on once it became clear Disney wasn't going to renew anytime soon, and he didn't want to stay tied to Doctor Who when production begins on season 3, because if it does happen, it is still some way off. So this is why his regeneration scene was filmed earlier this year and was obviously part of the reshoots. If Ncuti's first season had been a rating success, Disney would have wanted to snap him up for season 3 much sooner. And Russell was apparently really expecting them to do so, so he wouldn't leave. However, that wasn't the case. And season 1, which Russell has even said, like, the numbers weren't exactly where they wanted them to be, and unfortunately, yeah, it didn't work out the way it did, and the reshoots unfortunately were very obvious as well. But the context here is that Andrew is someone who has, or appears to have, insider knowledge on just about everything throughout this latest season, including Susan, the Rani, episode 3 being a midnight sequel, the 15th Doctor regenerating, Anita's return, and even Billie Piper being revealed as the 16th Doctor. So, yeah, I guess it's really unfortunate, but at least we know there's nothing, sinister or anything malicious about Ncuti leaving. It's just simply because the show won't be going into production, at its usual rate. So it will be nice to, I guess, kind of have that put to bed. Even though this isn't an official announcement, if this is coming from someone who has gotten a lot of things right, and I imagine Ncuti might open up about it maybe within the next few years, perhaps. But Ncuti is like an in-demand actor, so it does kind of make sense that he'd want to move on, especially if there is like a gap year. So yeah, very interesting stuff. So yeah, there we go. That is apparently why Ncuti has left the current production of Doctor Who, because yeah, it looks like it won't be going straight back into production, and he's kind of taking a step back and he needs to move on with his career, and he's got bills to pay and stuff, and he can't stay tied to a show that isn't going into production because he's not going to get paid for it. So it makes complete sense. But with all that being said, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. If you are new around here, please click that like button and subscribe for more nerdy content, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much for all the support as always, and goodbye for now.